Hey there, it's Joseph with San Miguel de Allende Secrets. Today we're going to talk about coloring books, mainly coloring books during the virus, both locally and in an international market, how things have changed. As always, if you need more information, there's links below that can take you to the blog site or the Amazon site where you can buy the books in the San Miguel de Allende Secrets series, or Facebook, or anything you need to know about San Miguel in general. When quarantine began, I figured it was a good time to produce an adult coloring book based on the Atomi-made Mexican Maria dolls. The coloring books promoted the doll maker's art, and I'd have free copies for them to sell, help them compensate for some of the lost income. Well, I was wrong. It ended up being a great time, as adult coloring book sales have increased 955% on Amazon while we've all been home. The increase in coloring book sales was particularly notable as book sales have plummeted. I had the unfortunate timing to release the latest in the San Miguel de Allende Secrets series the week before the virus became local news. And that's the book there to the left called Coming Home. It flew to number one its first week out for Mexican history, travel, tradition, short stories. Great first week. In the second week, as the virus conquered all, weekly book sales were scarce as a tourist. Thinking it was a reflection of the new economic reality, I put together a box set of all 8 books in the series for an at-cost price of 2 books. Surely, my thinking was, that would do well and help folks pass the time. It didn't, as foreign tourism was non-existent. No point in reading up on a future vacation when you don't know if there'll be any future or vacations. But what was selling, and continues to at about a dozen books a week, was the Mexican Maria doll coloring book. I only put that book on Amazon so I could print out copies for the doll sellers. I didn't really think I'd sell any online. And it was during the process that I learned Amazon, for best-selling lists of books, doesn't track paper-based books. They sell only the online versions, the Kindle versions. I was kind of shocked because I always sold more paperbacks than Kindles, not apparently that Amazon cares. I also learned if you don't spend at least $50 every few months on Amazon, you can't leave a book review. Who knew? Well, a lot of my reviewers learned, as folks aren't spending much money on books or other Amazon items during the pandemic. Another surprise I learned with adult coloring book sales is how anxious folks are to place their creations on social media and send me a copy. Since I took the photos for the coloring book images, I've always seen them in their true colors, like a sort of a Cyndi Lauper-esque true colors image. It was fascinating to me to view the artist's interpretations with colors. So for example, that picture in the upper left-hand corner of the Maria doll in a sewer grate, that doll actually was wearing a white dress and had white ribbons. And I took the picture of her on the sewer grate that week because it happened to be the same week that Marilyn Monroe's famous white dress that she wore over the sewer grate and it blows up in the air, that was auctioned off for $16 million. So on social media as a lark, I put Maria in her white dress, making it look like the air was blowing her dress up, with the joke that she's willing to auction off her dress for 1/4 of that price. Suffice to say, she didn't get any serious bidders. The young lady in the middle exemplifies the typical colorist. Colorist is someone who colors. It sounds way more racist than it is. But one of the things I learned was that your average colorist is a female millennial between the ages of 18 and 29. And for whatever reason, they buy the most coloring books. Part of that reason is they like to take pictures of their work when they're done and post it on social media. Now, it's not just me that's all of a sudden increase in popularity of adult coloring books. Now they were coming up with subject matters like The Golden Girls, a ton of books all about the virus itself. One of the more interesting things I learned was there was a newspaper, free weekly newspaper in Chicago called The Reader. And it would be things like restaurants and museums, things to do in Chicago. And with the pandemic, there was no place to distribute the newspaper and there really wasn't much going on. And that's what made the producers of The Reader decide to change your format from a weekly newspaper into an adult coloring book, featuring local artists' takes on different Chicago sites. I thought it was a clever idea, though I must admit I was a bit surprised at the $45 asking price. That's more than 5 times the average adult coloring book price. I was thrilled to negotiate with Amazon down to $7.29 for the lowest at-cost coloring book price they'd even allow. So coloring itself is a simple, repetitive activity that'll help you disconnect from the never-ending news cycle and maintain a more meditative state where you're not stressing about anything while you're just coloring, for example, Mrs. White in the kitchen with a knife. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel, and you'll see the button below, and that way every time a new story comes out, you'll be notified. Have a great day.